Hi, I'm Dan with Storm Equipment. Today we're going to go through some electrical troubleshooting that we commonly get questions about. Follow along. So right now we're going to identify our functions if you have a 4-pin harness. All right, so here we are. I have Brady up in the cab for me. He's going to switch between functions to make sure that we have no issues on the machine side. So your top right and your bottom right, depending on how you're looking at it, should. So there we have function. Go ahead and flip it, Brady. And we have function at the other pin as well. Next we'll move to the 4-pin plow side harness to show you what that wiring looks like and go from there. So here we are at the table, just going to show you, so there's two options of 4-pin. If you have OEM factory stuff from Metal Pless, what that looks like, and then if you have any wiring from Storm Equipment, what those wiring configurations look like. First, if you have factory Metal Pless wiring, you're going to go ahead and see that we have a gray wire, a brown wire, and a black wire. And your gray wire is going to be your ground. Your brown wire is a function wire, and that would be in the 1 slot right there. And then black would be your second function wire right below it. So all those they're held in there with a set screw essentially. Biggest thing we see happening is something will happen and one of these wires will be loose or get pulled out. Simply all you have to do is loosen the set screw that holds this in the housing, pop it out, and then the set screws that actually hold the wire are right there. A simple flathead screwdriver will tighten those up. If for some reason you break this or it's damaged somehow or another, we do have all of these receptacles in stock. We'll go over here to the Storm Equipment harness. Same concept, just different wire colors. Ours, ground black. Function 1, green. 2, red. Pretty simple. So now we'll go ahead and we'll take a look. If you don't have a 4-pin connector and you have an 8 or 14 pin, we'll look at that. There's also Bobcat has their own wiring that would be a 7-pin converter, which we will discuss in a different video. Let's take a look. Okay, so now that we're gonna test to find our function on our 14-pin receptacle here. Brady is inside the cab again, and he is going to hit our function buttons. Probably should hook it up to our ground. So that's one function. That's your second function. Once you know that you have power and your function works on your machine, it's easy to diagnose. Then you'd know that you'd have an issue on your plow side. All right, so here we are now. We know we have function on the machine side. We're going to take a look at the 14-pin cat harness that we make here at Storm Equipment. Here you can see our pinout locations. We have our ground wires that are consolidated into one. That would be in spot B. And then our red wire is in E, green F. So moving down, you can see we have our splitter here that would go to your 2 solenoids. Our one function wire green, a ground black. The other side, your function wire being red, ground white. And those numbers, red would be in 1, same with green, and your grounds are in 2. Again, this is for a Cat 14-pin harness. If you have a case loader, a Kubota skid loader, John Deere, anything, we make separate harnesses for those that would have different pinouts at the receptacle here. All right, now that we've gone through the 14-pin Cat, let's walk over to a Cat 920 and we'll take a look at what an 8-pin receptacle looks like. All right, so here we are at the front of the loader. We're gonna go ahead so you can see this receptacle has 8 pins. We're gonna go ahead and get that on there, find our functions. So there's a function. There's our other function. Now that we know that we have working power down at the machine, let's just go ahead quick and we'll take a look at the 8-pin plow side. All right, so now that we're back at the table here, we're gonna quick take a look at the Cat 8-pin. Again, we have our ground wires going into A, function, with the red wire going into C, green wire going into D. Same with the 14-pin going back, we have our function wires in 1, which are red and green, and then your grounds in 2, which are white and black. So we've gone through the 2 versions of Caterpillar harnesses here. We have harnesses for all other manufacturers, and we will put wiring diagrams for that up on the screen. And if for some reason you don't see what you guys are looking for, always reach out to us, and remember, we're here to help push you through the storm.